On page 238 of the textbook in Excel Tutorial 4, the topic of sparklines or creating sparklines is discussed. And it explains that a sparkline is a chart that is displayed entirely within a worksheet cell. So these are like mini charts that we're going to be able to create in individual cells. There are three types of sparklines. There's a line sparkline, column sparkline, and win-loss sparkline. So on that page 238, you'll see in figure 4-36, there are the three examples, and you can see them all in column C of each example. So what we're going to be doing is on the overview worksheet, we're going to scroll down and locate the section just below the pie chart that indicates the 10-year production for the different varieties of wines that this Levitt winery proposes to produce over the 10-year period. So what we're going to do first is select D29 through D34. These are the cells in which we will create the sparklines, and we're going to be creating a column sparkline. So we're going to go over to the Insert tab, and you'll see there's a Sparklines group, and we're going to choose the column sparkline. When you click that, that's going to bring up the Create Sparklines dialog box. And the data range that we want to specify in terms of what data is it that we are going to be representing in our sparklines is actually on the Estimated Production Sheet tab. So the data range box needs to be activated. Your insertion point should be there, and then you're going to click on the sheet tab called Estimated Production down below, and you'll see that it shifts over to that worksheet, and then the cells that will represent the data that we will be charting will be C6 through L11. So if you want to move this over a little bit, you can, and we're going to choose C6 through L11. So that range reference will automatically be plugged in. So the first part of it represents the sheet name, there's an exclamation separator, and then the range of cells that we're going to be representing. The location range is already established because we had pre-selected that over on the overview worksheet. So if we had not pre-selected, then we would have to indicate the range of cells there in which we want to create the sparklines. So now we can go ahead and click OK. It's going to take us back to the overview worksheet, and there you can see the sparklines were created. The next thing we're going to do is format the sparkline axis. So this information is on page 240. If you take a look at the sparklines right now, you'll notice that they all have kind of a slope from 0 taking all the way up to the maximum column size for that particular row. So what you can see, the 10-year production for Chardonnay starts out very low, and then in the end you see the maximum amount. However, if you take a look at the rest of the wines, they pretty much all look the same, and that's because they're all using different vertical axis values, meaning the maximum value which would determine the height of the column. What we would like to do is format all of these sparkline cells so that they will all use the same maximum value. So if you notice, Chardonnay is actually the cell or the type of wine that has the maximum number of cases that are going to be produced. So we're going to use that value as our maximum value for all of our sparklines. So with that range of cells still selected, we're going to go ahead and we're going to change the axis value. So if you'll notice, because we have the sparkline selected, up above we have the Sparkline Tools tab showing. We're going to go over here to the axis option in that group, and we're going to choose custom value for the vertical axis. So we're going to go up here or down here to vertical axis maximum value options, and we're going to choose custom value. The custom value there is going to be 3500. So you can type completely over it, or you can just add the 350 to that and then click OK. So with 3500 being the maximum value now, you'll see that all the other sparklines will show an adjustment to the height of their maximum value columns. So the next thing we're going to do is work with sparkline groups. This is talked about on pages 240, 241. If you take a look at the group of sparklines, if I deselect what we had selected and I click back on one of the sparklines, you'll notice if I click in one of the cells, the entire group of sparklines is automatically selected. This simply means that the entire range is considered a sparkline group. What we actually want to do is change the colors of each of the sparklines so that they match the corresponding colors used in the pie chart up above. So this Chardonnay sparkline, we would like to match the Chardonnay color, which is that lighter blue. The first thing we have to do is ungroup the range of cells. So go ahead and select again D29 through D34. And on the Design tab, you're going to see on the far right hand side the group, and we're going to look at the Ungroup button so that we can treat each of these sparklines independently so they can be formatted differently. So click Ungroup, and now you can select each sparkline individually. So in selecting D30, we're going to change the sparkline color. So that is going to be in the Style group in the Design tab. Go to Sparkline Color, and we are going to pick the corresponding color, which is Blue Accent 1. And that matches the Chardonnay. Selecting the next sparkline, which is the Riesling, that is going to be the Orange Accent 2 to match the Riesling color here. So again, the same thing. Orange Accent 2, and we want darker 25%. Pinot Grigio is the gray color. So we'll go back and we're going to do the gray 50% Accent 3. D32, which is the Pinot Noir, that is kind of a gold color. So Sparkline color, Gold Accent 4. The Cabernet Franc, we formatted as purple. If you had picked a different color, then you want it to match as well. So I'm going to go to Sparkline and use the standard purple for this one. If yours is a different color, you can apply the corresponding color. And then the last one, the Ruby Cabernet, is the green Accent 6. Okay. So now each of these sparklines match the colors that are in the pie chart up above.